Hey guys, my name's Dave and welcome to another Guitar Zero to Hero song tutorial. In this lesson, I'm going to teach you how to play From the Start by Laufey, which is an awesome tune with a really cool jazzy vibe. In this lesson, I'll teach you two different ways of playing this song. The first method is a finger-picked version, and this is based off a few live performances that I saw her play. Now, it is on the trickier side, so if you're a beginner, I would probably stay away from this finger-picked version. In the second half of the video though, I'll show you an easy way of playing this song if you just want to strum and sing along. Now, if you want to master your chords back to front, then be sure to head over to guitarzerotohero.com to pick up my free guitar ebook. Or if you want to improve on your guitar in general, then be sure to check out Guitar Zero to Hero Premium, which is my complete step-by-step guitar course. All right, let's jump into the lesson. Now, for those of you who are learning your finger picking, it might seem a little daunting, but there's just two chord progressions that you really need to learn. And the trickiest part is just remembering the finger picking patterns. But other than that, it's actually quite simple. Let's dive into the song. Now, for our finger picking hand, your thumb will take care of the 6th and 5th strings, and your index, middle, and ring finger will take care of the 4th, 3rd, and 2nd strings respectively. Ideally, they shouldn't pluck any other strings other than the ones they've been assigned to. So let's start with the intro, and there's just one line of tab here. We're going to start with an E flat minor 9, so ring, middle, and pinky finger on the 6th frets of the 5th, 3rd, and 2nd string, and your index finger will go onto the 4th fret of the 4th string. Now, we're going to pinch all of these strings, these middle 4 strings, together like that. Now, after you pinch, you're going to quickly, momentarily lift your fretting hand so you get that staccato feel, which means that the strings don't ring out. And then you're going to fret the chord back down and pinch this twice, another lift, and pinch this chord shape one more time. So the rhythm is, and then we're going to go to an A flat 13. So keep your pinky finger where it is. Your index finger is going to partially bar the 4th strings. So we just need the 4th fret of the 6th and 4th string ringing out like that. And your middle finger will go onto the 5th fret of the 3rd string. With this A flat 13, we're going to be pinching the 6th, 4th, 3rd, and 2nd strings. And then lift your fretting hand and then pinch it twice more. And the first bar in total. And then for the next bar, we go to a D flat major 7. So keep your pinky and middle finger where they are and put your ring finger down on the 6th fret of the 4th string, index on the 4th fret of the 5th string. We're going to be pinching this with a similar rhythm that we had for the first bar. And that will sound like this. And the intro in total. Okay, so next we move on to verse number 1, and there's 2 lines of tab here. So this is the first chord progression that we need to learn. Now the first bar is the same as the first bar in the intro, so our E flat minor 9 and A flat 13. When we go to our D flat major 7, we're going to change our finger picking pattern here. So we're going to go bass note, and then we're going to pluck the 4th, 3rd, and 2nd strings, hold that out for a little bit, and pluck those strings again. And then for this next 3-note run, we'll go 4th string, bass note, 3rd and 2nd. So, and then another 3-note run. So 4th, bass note, and then with your index finger, move up to the 5th fret of the 5th string. So in total for the D flat major 7. The 3rd and the 4th bar are identical to the 1st and 2nd bar. So in total for the first line of tab for the verse. When we get to the second line of tab for the E minor 9 to the A flat 13, we're no longer playing that same staccato rhythm. We're mixing it up now. So we're going to bass note, then 4th, 3rd, and 2nd strings. Then we're going to hit bass note again, but that's a shorter bass note, and then pluck the 4th, 3rd, and 2nd strings. At this point, we're transitioning to the A flat 13. And during that transition, you'll hit the 4th string with your index finger. So that kind of just ends up being an open ghost note. And in total for the first half, that open 4th string might sound a little bit off, but because it's so fast, you won't actually hear it in context with the chords. Then we go to our A flat 13. We're going to hit the bass note and then 4th, 3rd, and 2nd strings. Then 2 notes here, 4th string by itself, bass note, and then 4th, 3rd, and 2nd strings. And in total for the A flat 13. and the first bar in total. We're then going to go to an F sharp minor 7. So this is index finger up at the 8th fret, barring from the 5th string onwards, and ring finger on the 10th fret of the 4th string, middle finger on the 9th fret of the 2nd string. So we're going to hit the bass note, which is the 5th string, then 4th, 3rd, and 2nd strings, hold that out, 4th, 3rd, and 2nd strings again, and then the 4th string by itself, and then we quickly change to our next chord, and the F minor 7 in total. Then we go to a B flat 7. So it's the same as our A13, but we're up at 6th and 7th frets here, and we don't really need our pinky finger fretted down. We're just going to focus on the 6th, 4th, and 3rd strings. So we'll hit the bass note, 4th and 3rd, and then the 4th string by itself, and then with your middle finger, you can put that onto the 7th fret of the 2nd string, and then we're going to be pinching the 6th, 3rd, and 2nd strings together twice with staccato, like that. And the B7, and this bar in total. We then go back to our E flat minor 9. We're going to pluck the root note, then 4th, 3rd, and 2nd strings. Hold that out for a little bit, pluck the 4th, 3rd, and 2nd strings again, and then a quick 3-note run. So 4th, root note, 4th, 3rd, and 2nd, and then the same 3 plucks again, but with slightly different timing. And the E minor 9 in total. And then we go to our A flat 13. We're going to hit the root note, which is the 6th string, 4th, 3rd, and 2nd strings. Hold that out. 4th, 3rd, and 2nd strings again. Then 4th string by itself, and then pinch 6th, 4th, 3rd, and 2nd strings all together. And end that with some staccato. So the final bar. And that's it for the second line tab, which sounds like this in total. And in total, this is what the verse will sound like. Next we move on to the chorus, which has a very similar chord progression with some minor changes. So the changes happen on the 7th bar. So instead of going to our E flat minor 9 and holding out for a full bar, we're playing the E flat minor 9 for half a bar, going to our A flat 13, and then ending with a D flat major 7. So that's the only change to the chord progression. Now the finger picking does differ a little bit. Now for this first bar, it's very similar to the first bar in the second line of tab for the verse, except we're going to start with a pinch of the 5th, 4th, 3rd, and 2nd strings. And then everything else is the same. So that will sound like this all together. This D major 7 bar is the same as what we had in the verse. The third bar is almost identical to the first bar, except instead of starting with the pinch, we're just going to start with the root note, which is our 5th string. And then the 4th bar is identical to the 2nd bar. So the first line of tab for chorus 1 will sound like this. So next we get to the second line of tab for the chorus. Now these first 2 bars are identical to the first 2 bars in the second line of tab for the verse. So nothing new to learn there. So that will sound like this. The third bar for the second line of tab is the same as the third bar for the first line of tab. So it's just that E flat minor 9 to the A flat 13. And then our D flat major 7, we're going to return to that sort of staccato motif that we had in the intro, so the second bar of the intro, which sounds like this. And in total, the second line tab of the first chorus will sound like this. And that's it for chorus 1, which sounds like this in total. Next we get to the break, which is similar to the verse, but there's a couple of exceptions here. So the first minor change happens on the third bar. So instead of doing this staccato motif for our E flat minor 9 to A flat 13, we're going to be picking it in a similar way that we did in the chorus. So for the third bar. So that's the first little variation here. And the final variation here in the break is the final bar for the A flat 13. So we're going to start by pinching the 6th and 2nd string, and then plucking the 3rd, 4th, and then 2nd, 3rd, 4th again, 2nd, 3rd, and then we're going to lift our pinky finger, so it's just an A flat 7, and we're going to pinch the 6th, 4th, 3rd, and 2nd strings like that. So the final bar here for the A flat 13. And that's it for the break, which will sound like this. Next we get to the second verse. Now the second verse is basically identical to the first verse. We're going to keep it that way for simplicity. However, when I see her play it live, she actually slightly varies the third bar. Instead of playing that staccato motif in that third bar, she's just playing that regular picking pattern that you find in the 5th bar of this verse. So that's the only difference here between verse 2 and verse 1 when you see her play it live. But to keep it simple in the playthrough at the end of this lesson, for verse 2, I'll just play the exact same thing as verse 1. Next is chorus 2, which is very similar to chorus 1, the only difference being the final bar. So for our D flat major 7, instead of playing that staccato motif at the end of chorus 1, we're going to play the same bar of D flat major 7 that we have in the 4th bar in the first line of tab. So that's the only difference between chorus 2 and chorus number 1. Finally, we have the outro, which is just 2 lines of tab here. So we're going to start with our E flat minor 9 to A flat 13, similar to what we have in the second line of tab of the chorus. And then we go up to our F minor 7. We're going to pluck the middle 4 strings here though. So just go 5th, 4th, 3rd, 2nd. And then we go to our B flat 7 flat 13. We're just going to pinch the 6th, 4th, 3rd, and 2nd strings all together. And then we go to an E flat minor chord. So it's different to our E flat minor 9, just a regular minor bar chord of the 5th string. Hold that out for a full bar. Then we go to an A flat 13, pinch the 6th, 4th, 3rd, and 2nd string. And then an A flat 7 flat 13. So we're just going to lift our pinky and put our ring finger down on that 5th fret of the 2nd string. Like that. And then we end the song on a D flat major. Or a D flat major 7. It's up to you. But I'm going to use the D flat. So the outro will sound like this. that's everything for the fingerpicked version. As you saw, it's just 2 chord progressions, the verse and the chorus chord progression, with a few minor tweaks throughout the song. So now I'm going to teach you an easy version of this song, which just requires some easy open chords and strumming. Now for this easy version, you'll require a capo on the 1st fret of your guitar. Let's start with the intro. We start off with a D7 sus2, so middle finger on the 2nd fret of the 3rd string, index finger on the 1st fret of the 2nd string, and we're just going to strum from the 4th string onwards. So that's D7 sus2, and then we go to a G6. So we just have our ring finger on the 3rd fret of the 6th string, middle finger on the 2nd fret of the 5th, and then finally a C major 7, where we just take these 2 fingers down 1 string, and we're strumming from the 5th string onwards. So those are our 3 chords. Now for our strumming pattern, we have something like this: down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up. Now for the D7 sus2 to the G6, those 2 chords are contained within 1 strumming pattern, and the point at which we change is on the highlighted up strum here. So it will sound like this. And then when we go to the C major 7, and when we get to the C major 7, we're going to strum this with a down, down, up, down, down, and just pause there. So that's it for the intro, which sounds like this. Next we get to the verse chord progression, which has 3 lines of chords. So we start off the same way as the intro, so D7 sus2 to a G6, same strumming pattern there. When we go to our C major 7, we're playing a full strumming pattern, which goes down, down, up, down, 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 up. So that first line of chords is played through twice. For the second line of chords, we start off the same way with our D7 sus2 to our G6, and then we're going to go to an E minor 7. So index and middle finger on the 2nd frets of the 5th and 4th string, and pinky finger on the 3rd fret of the 2nd string. And then A7 flat 13, so keep your middle finger where it is, put your ring finger on the 2nd fret of the 2nd string, and index finger on the 1st fret of the 1st string. And we're strumming from the 5th string onwards there. And those 2 chords are contained within 1 strumming pattern, so it's similar to the D7 sus2 to G6. So the second line of chords. For the third line of chords, we have our D7 sus2, and that's just going to be played for a full strumming pattern. And then we go to our G6, and we're going to strum that with a down, down, up, down, down, and mute after that. So that's it for the verse, which sounds like this in total. Next we get to the chorus, which is very similar to the verse, with the only difference is in the third line of chords. So the third line of chords in this easy chorus is just the same as the first line of chords. So the easy chorus will sound like this. The final thing we need to learn is the outro, which is just 2 lines of chords. We have our D7 sus2 to G6, and our E minor 7 to A7 flat 13. Then for our final line of chords, it's a D minor 7, a G, and then a regular C to end the song. For this, we'll just play a strumming pattern only for the D7 sus2 to G6, Everything else is just strummed once and sort of held out. If you want to see all of this in context, just go to the playthrough at the end of the song. As you can see, this easy version is pretty simple. There's just those 2 chord progressions that we need to know, and 1 strumming pattern that's used more or less throughout the entire song. And it's a much more simplified and easy way for the beginners out there to strum and sing this song. So now I'll be doing 2 playthroughs of the song. The first playthrough will be the fingerpicked version, and the second playthrough will be the easy strum version. A big thanks to my friend Charlotte June for lending her beautiful vocals to this playthrough. You can check out her YouTube channel in the link in the description below. Be sure to play these back as many times as you'd like to practice, play along to, and see how you go.
Don't you notice how I get quiet when there's no one else around? Me and you and awkward silence. Don't you dare look at me that way. I don't need reminders of how you don't feel the same. Oh, the burning pain, listening to you harp on about some new soulmate. She's so perfect, blah blah blah. Oh, how I wish you wake up one day, run to me, confess your love. At least just let me say that when I talk to you, oh Cupid walks right through and shoots an arrow through my heart. And I sound like a loon, but don't you feel it to confess I loved you from the start? What's a girl to do, lying on my bed staring into the blue? Unrequited, terrifying love is driving me a bit insane. Have to get this off my chest. I'm telling you today that when I talk to you, oh Cupid walks right through and shoots an arrow through my heart. And I sound like a loon, but don't you feel it to confess I loved you from the start? Confess I loved you, just thinking of you. I know I loved you from the start. Don't you notice how I get quiet when there's no one else around? Me and you and awkward silence. Don't you dare look at me that way. I don't need reminders of how you don't feel the same. Oh, the burning pain, listening to you harp on about some new
Thanks so much for watching. If you've enjoyed this lesson, then I know you'll absolutely love these other lessons too. So hit the link here. Or if you want to grab a copy of my free guitar ebook, then head over to guitarzerotohero.com or click the link here. Thanks so much, and I'll see you guys next time on Guitar Zero to Hero. Cheers.